obviously, we're here kind of to talk about your part in Slow Horses, but before that, you kind of began your career in martial arts. What prompted that pivot into acting?
I mean, when I retired from the karate business or the professional career that I had, like I had a really time of thinking what could be the next thing or objective in my life. And I think that emptiness, because when you're a professional athlete, you have like you spend the whole time, morning and afternoon, nights, the weekends, working out or training and competing. And so that was hard because, you feel lost. What else? And then what next? And to be honest, at that time, many people they recommended theater, and they said, yeah, why not? And I just the day I remember that day in Rouen, France, and it felt magic being on stage. It's unbelievable, to be honest.
And before joining Horses, were you a fan of the show? Had you seen much of it before?
Yes, I've watched the show, and it's unbelievable. It's destiny because I was in a talk with the producer of Netflix. I've played a role in a Netflix production, and the producer, we were just I say him hi, it's Kelly. We were talking about shows and what's next, and we both write. So we were talking what's writing, what's nice writing, and he told me, I believe Slow Horses is unbelievable. And at that time, to be honest, I've never heard about it, and I went and I watched it. So yes, it's brilliant, brilliant writing and a brilliant show.
And what was it about your character that appealed to you? What was it about him that made you go, yeah, I want to get into playing this guy?
Ah, first of all, I love playing the antagonists in general, not just. I don't want to say villains because people they think about villains as villains, but so I love that because I feel like it's very interesting to understand the human being behind that. So first when I did the casting, I mean I did the casting for the three roles, which is Sami and Farouk and but there is something about Farouk that really uh, I mean spoken more to me, which is he was like kind of fearless and in a way robotic. So for me it was a challenging to make that a human being, make him like as everybody else. So that's what was really appealing for me. And also, when you speak about the character, you speak about the show, right? So being in a show like that with a character like that, I mean, you cannot say no. So for me, that's the most things I loved about that.
He's kind of an ex-soldier turned extremist. As an actor, how were you, able to access and humanize him so that you could play him?
Look, I remember the first day on set, and I was talking with Will, the writer, Will Smith, and we were talking about this question. And I told him what really could make a character, any character, whatever is extremist or whatever, is his background and his motivations, why he's doing that. Means if you see Farouk during the show, I mean, you don't know why he's doing that. And that was the discussion between me and Will. And that background that we built together around him. First, he was a soldier. He was fighting for his country. He lost his family, his pregnant wife, you know. So I think that makes the pain
Mm.
the pain behind Farouk. That's the main motivation. I don't think Farouk thinks that he is a bad guy or a villain. I don't think so as well, you know. Otherwise, I wouldn't play it because if you see the truth from two perspectives, everyone thinks he's right.
Mm.
So nobody thinks that he's doing something bad. Same for Farouk. So that's, I think, the key of making him human and yeah,
Yeah. I mean, like you say, this is a character that, transplanted to, another story could have been the hero of the piece to some degree. I mean, you look at a franchise like, John Wick,
yeah.
his dog gets killed and then, he goes on a revenge spree to get back at the people that wronged him. And that's a dog. Obviously here, you're seeing your character, a pregnant wife that was killed. I mean, that is something that you would see in a Hollywood movie. That would be your Hollywood hero's, motivation. So that must be quite, interesting to get to play with those shades of grey within a character.
There's this remind me a question from a journalist, and he's asking me what would you if Farouk had to live, what would you make from Farouk? Maybe people here don't know the how we call the chemistry between me, Sami, and Ahmed. I mean, it's the three of us on set was unbelievable. And for me, answering that question, I said, why not a spin-off of these three people? Understanding, from Tara to Ahmed to from where they came from and where they are going. So that would be very interesting. But again, this is the show, and this is the motivation, and this is how it ends. And that's why
Mm.
I mean, the writing is unbelievably beautiful and powerful because every single character is powerful, whatever his space in the series.
And given some of Farouk's actions, were there any scenes that you found particularly challenging to film?
Filming or acting.
Or both, was there anything that he did that, kind of made you, think, okay, this is a lot.
I think the scene when we see the pain behind Farouk for me was, a kind of we at least we understand that pain. We until episode 6 we don't see really. So for me, that scene was key because then, when you have that ruthless and fearless, sorry, you know, showing that behind the eye without losing the character is somehow you have to be very careful about that. I
Yeah.
think that's the scene, yes.
Yeah. And how do you think that your foundation in martial arts kind of helped prepare you for life on set? I mean, you were saying that, when it was training like 24/7, always eating the right things, doing the right things, how did that kind of help you with life on set?
I was doing karate, and I remember one of the big senseis. He's telling us karate is a way of life. I mean, it's not only set, it's life in general. I think that would be if there was Monty without karate, I would be a complete different person. So from discipline to I mean, like, when you do martial arts, you understand the value of every single detail. And, in the moment when you feel, no, I'm not, I'm gonna stop. I feel really tired of this and that's where you keep going. Every single step you do in your life is not easy. It's that's karate, that's the life. You have to be, you keep going and you have an objective and you just focus on the journey and you enjoy it as much as you can. So being on set is the same. You have to come on set, but then that's the fun part. What have you prepared for that before? So if you are a world champion and you come to the world championship and you haven't prepared anything, or 2 years. For example, karate world championship is every 2 years, and you haven't worked hard before that 2 years, you're not gonna do anything in the competition. You're gonna lose. You know what I mean? Exactly the same on set. You have to be prepared from all perspective. So that's, I think, where karate martial arts could come into place.
And as somebody, that does have a background in martial arts, what are your, thoughts on, martial arts in cinema?
You mean like an action or
Yeah, how do you think that they're, are they well represented in these sorts of films, do you think?
yeah, I mean, we all watch Jackie Chan and Bruce Lee and all these movies. I mean, yeah, I think they have that. I mean, why I did karate when I was young, because I was watching all these people, you know. Um, and I think it's getting hard, maybe, because it's not you. If you take a Bruce Lee, for example, and you do the same movie now, who would watch it, right? So it's unbelievable how they keep up, and you watch and you love it and you keep watching it. For example, Johnny Wick, and also this style, this creativity. That's where human being is just unbelievably beautiful, because he keeps going. There is always something new about it. That's where I think, yeah.
And you mentioned that you were, that you were a writer. Have you got any writing projects that you're working on at the moment?
Yes, I keep writing because, as an actor, I have two choices. Either wait for projects. I keep doing that. I keep receiving casting and be casted, but also I want to do the things that really speaks to me. So that's why I write first. What I'm writing currently with a Netflix producer is a very personal movie, a kind of drama back in the 17th century that's going to be shot in Egypt, hopefully. And we're really working hard on, and we're advancing on the script. Yeah.
Nice. It sounds exciting. And I guess going back to Slow Horses, what do you hope, what hopes do you have for the audience and when they watch Farouk's story, what do you hope that they kind of take from his story?
Ask questions. I think my my objective as an actor is not to give answers, is to ask questions. My hope is they ask why he's like that. What's this pain behind his eye? I mean, why did he kill his best friend? These questions, these kind of questions. You, if we as actors achieve that, and that's the point, people will be interested in the character, and you're gonna give voice to the character, and so on and so forth.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's a great show. It's great, great character. Thank you so much for your time and best of luck with your future endeavors.
Thank you so much, and thank you for your time. Thank you.